Hey everyone, this is your host Wade Franson, created in the image of God, the role of religion in society. We're here with a recurring visit from our favorite neighborhood, or should I say global economist, Bruce Koerber. Welcome into the studio, Bruce.
Thank you, Wade. I'm glad to be here again.
We are here with the fourth installment of your 5-part series that we've been airing over the last 3 months. And this installment is titled Reuniting Ethics and Economics. And this is interesting because as you and I were just chatting behind the scenes, we're pre-recording this sneak peek prior to the pending election of a new president here in the United States. And this show will air on November 12th after the election of that new president. Will it make a difference in the economy if candidate A or candidate B is elected in the case of this current election? I'm not even asking you to mention names, but would there be a different impact to the economy if one or the other candidate were elected?
Well, ethics and economics are sister disciplines. They were separated in the past, and now with the divine economy theory, they're reunited. And what I think the basic point that you're trying to make is, will the economy be affected by one party or one person or another? And I believe that it all depends on the exercise of ethics. And it appears that there is a difference in the ethical behavior among the people who are candidates. So I think the outcome would be significantly different ethically, and so the economy is connected to the ethics. So.
And I believe it's fair to say that given the relatively close nature of the race in this cycle, as it was last time, people might disagree on which candidate would represent a more ethical approach. So maybe it's helpful for you to explain, what do you understand the word ethics to mean in the context of economics?
Well, I think the broad picture is this involvement in the economy is unethical. So in that sense, there's not a lot of difference. But at the same time, we have to accept the fact that we're not at that point in history yet where that's understood. So there will be people who are in power who are going to be interfering with the economy, but some are more ethical than others. And so our choice is which one. I mean, if we're going to pick between 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, we want to pick one has the most ethics, and so that would least impact the economy.
Well, that's an interesting perspective, and we don't have much time in the sneak peek, but let me just tease this idea out there, and that is that we recently had a devotional gathering with a number of people, and it came up, people often ask, where's God in all this, right? And they lose faith in God because of what they see happening. And I said, the answer is simple. God gave us free will. There's no God in it, in the sense that we're doing this to ourselves. And you and I were just saying, well, God doesn't micromanage, right? Far from it. He doesn't micromanage. He shines the sun on the just and unjust alike. The rain falls on the just and the unjust alike. God does not micromanage situations. And as we move forward in the evolution of society and ever more complex systems of people in governance relationships with each other. We have democracies with elected leaders who govern us in that sense. But the scale of, let's say, the federal government or the so-called United States of Europe or whatever, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, aka the Soviet Union, these massive scales where there's centralized planning, micromanaging at the level. That's what you're talking about then. So a more ethical approach would be less micromanagement of the economy. And yet I would submit that many people believe the opposite to be true. There's a Baha'i principle that says we should work towards eliminating extremes of wealth and poverty. And one way people think they would accomplish that is by micromanaging the economy.
Well, the other view, which is not well known, is the fact that entrepreneurship is what brings about the equality of wealth, and I mean the minimizing of the extremes of wealth and poverty. Because a person who has nothing can acquire great wealth by serving customers, serving consumers, and so those who don't serve could lose their wealth. So there's this dynamic that's there that's always present when entrepreneurship is driving it, rather than some arbitrary decision from on high.
Wonderful. Well, Bruce, thank you so much for coming to the studio to create this sneak peek. There you have it, the introduction. Come prepared to hear a whole lot more on November 12th, 8 p.m. Central Time for episode 124 of Created in the Image of God. See you there.